Hello and welcome to Three of Skeins Knit and Crochet Podcast. I'm Lisa.
I'm Cryss. I'm feeling silly today. Clearly. I was just over here voguing. Y'all missed the whole show.
Yeah. We're just gonna go with it though. If you want to vogue again, it's fine.
No, that's not it.
Sure? Okay.
You know, I was listening to Madonna last night and now I have Vogue in my head.
Hey, before we get started, like and subscribe, okay? And share this video with a friend. Thanks. So, Cryss, what are we talking about today?
I guess what we're making.
Yeah. We'll start there. We'll see what comes up.
Because before we get started, I made sushi.
Oh,
If you
yeah.
watched, was it the last episode or 2 episodes back? I said I wanted to make some sushi. I made some sushi. It had some issues. I put too much rice in it, so my rolls were a little embiggened. But I know that's the problem now, and I think my next endeavor is going to go much, much better, and I'm very excited.
Oh, and you know what? Tell them about the fish you used because it wasn't raw.
Yeah, so let me tell you my sushi hacks. I have a fish hack and a rice hack. The rice hack, Costco sells this box of bowls of sticky rice, microwavable, 90 seconds, boom, done. It's such a load off my mind to not have to worry about figuring out how to cook the short grain sticky rice. But instead of using fresh fish, raw fish, so, because I don't want to kill anybody, I actually am using a smoked fish. The brand is called Fishwife, and it comes in like these little cans, and you can get trout, tuna, or salmon. And so it's not cooked, but it's not raw. And, it has a shelf life, and I don't have to go out and buy fish the same day I want to make sushi, which means I can have sushi on a whim. And
It was delicious.
It
I
worked
can
out
attest
really great.
to that, okay?
she was like trying to like drop hints like, so making sushi this weekend? Oh, when are you gonna make your sushi? Oh, sushi coming up. Somebody was invested.
Somebody promised me sushi.
I didn't promise you sushi. I said I was gonna make myself some sushi.
I got promised sushi.
She was never promised sushi. But I made the sushi and it came out well enough that I am encouraged to do it again. And so if there's a new thing you want to learn, I suggest you just go for it because I was so nervous the whole time. And you know why I used so much rice? Because I forgot how much a cup was.
Oh,
I decided a cup was 16 ounces instead of 8.
Oh, no.
Remember I told you I made half a cup of rice? No,
Yeah.
it was a cup. I made a whole cup. And then I just added a whole second cup for no reason.
Oh, dear.
I couldn't do math anymore. That's how nervous I was. But
That explains so much.
But it all worked out in the end, and now I can do math again. So I think my sushi's gonna go very well next time. Don't laugh at me. Don't laugh at me. I was so stressed out. It's not even funny.
Oh, okay, dear.
But anyway, back to our whips. Okay, we have some trouble with our little arm thing here, so you're just gonna see us adjust.
Yeah, I'll cut out as many as I can, but sometimes you're just gonna see us adjust.
But so my t-shirt, I have started my finishing work and then massively slowed down because I hate doing finishing work. But I do have my shoulder seams done.
Oh, nice.
So it's a lovely little.
That is such a
Shoulder seam for you.
clean finish.
I don't know how to make it focus. There you go. Oh.
Like for like 1 second.
Like, don't look away, okay? Maybe we'll put in a photo.
Yes, a nice photo. Did you mattress stitch that?
Yeah.
That came out so clean.
So remember I said I was so excited to see the green that I went ahead and did my bottom edging before I seamed it together. Don't do that. Because now I'm going to have to seam it in 2 different color yarns.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a pain in the butt. But it's so pretty. Look at that green at the bottom.
Yeah.
And so just remember there's going to be green around here and around the armhole. And it's going to look so cute. And I really just wanted to see the green and the pink frolicking. But yeah, no. Sew it together first before you do any of your edgings. Just do that. Make your life much easier. But let's see my little top.
And how's your yarn holding out?
Fine. Oh, yeah. So remember, because I did some mathifying, and there'll be a video tomorrow. Not today's tomorrow. Tomorrow is with regard to when we film, not tomorrow with regard to when it's on YouTube. So there was a video a few days ago on our channel showing how I did the math to figure out how much yarn I would need for this t-shirt, and it's how I figured out I was not going to have enough yarn. So these cables that are on the front are not on the back. The back I just did all, oh, she's so wrinkled, but I just did all single crochet, and that literally saved me about a skein. I did not realize how yarn intensive cables were, but it was just a very simple tweak. And I did my math after I bought the yarn, but before I started the sweater, which is good, but doing it before you buy the yarn is even better.
Yes.
Because then I could have just bought that 6 skein.
Yeah.
But it all worked out in the end, and now I will try to make a practice of doing my math before I even purchase the yarn. So that
Having some merch on.
I know, like,
Crystal, that's official.
yeah, so I was able to tweak my design, and I had a whole bunch of yarn savings, did not have to worry about yarn chicken, and in a way that really just didn't make a big difference because I can't see the back. So
yeah.
But yeah, so once again, this is Sandus Garn Tinlina, which is cotton viscose linen. Love the yarn, loved working with it. Would definitely absolutely use this yarn again.
Absolutely.
It comes in a bunch of colors and in 3 different sizes, 3 different weights.
Yes.
So there's one for you, I promise. But yeah, love the yarn. And I'm almost done with my little summer t-shirt, and I could not be any more excited.
The only caveat for that yarn is you don't want to put it in the dryer. It will shrink. You probably don't even really want to put it in the washing machine, but I'm gonna test my swatch because I have a sizable swatch left over from my other piece.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to run my swatch through the washing machine just to make sure that I won't end up crying when I put in my entire top.
There's no crying and knitting.
There is most certainly crying and knitting. So what I will do is make an outline of my swatch on a piece of paper and check it when it comes out of the washing machine. And maybe for shiggles, I'll run it through the dryer just to see what happens. But since I have a nice sizable swatch, I can do that. So let's talk about nice sizable swatch. You see how big this swatch is? This is typically how I do my swatches. Nice and large. So I have a really good size sample of the fabric.
Oh, with a big strong spot.
It's show no pain. Even my swatch in the round for my skirt, this is actually about 10 3/4 inches all the way around. And it's 4 inches high. That's a stockinette swatch. So I was a little not feeling it anymore when I did my garter swatch. So notice how rather diminutive it is.
There seems to be something different there.
Yes. How rather diminutive.
Oh.
So here's why you don't really want to rely on swatches this big. At least I don't want to. Because when I measured this swatch, I got a gauge of 4 point something or another. My oven's preheated. 4 point something or another stitches per inch. And I based my cast on and all of my calculations for my pattern on that gauge. Well. Come to find out, that wasn't the most accurate gauge I could have gotten. Because when I first cast on my skirt, you know how sometimes you're looking at the thing and you're going, I'm a big girl. I mean, let's talk turkey. I am a big girl. But I was saying to myself, this looks really big. turns out it was really big. It was ginormous. And I said to myself, you know what? You're making the top of the skirt. As soon as you have a few inches, try it on. So happy I did. It had no relationship to my body. None. It was like a hula hoop in its largeness. So I ripped it out. And before I ripped it out, though, I measured the actual piece I was working and took the gauge from the largest swatch you could ever imagine in this life. It was like, it was so big. So my gauge turned out on the big piece that I had done. It turned out to be 3.724 stitches per inch, as opposed to the 4.285 stitches per inch. Yeah. You just math real quick in your head, like, ooh, that thing was big. Yeah.
Well, also evidence.
Yeah. But you know what? It worked out because, and I'm gonna like advocate for it right now. First of all, make a big old swatch, not this right here. Also, as soon as you have something that you can pin to yourself or put on yourself somehow, try it on. Because yes, I had done quite a bit of knitting. Quite a bit, because it was so bloody large. I mean, it was so big that about an inch maybe.
How big was it?
It was so big. About an inch, maybe an inch and a half of rows was taking up a whole skein.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's so much smaller now that I haven't finished a skein yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I didn't keep going. I was disappointed that I had to rip it out. But
that was the point, to rip it out.
Yes, not you know, when I had an acre and a half of skirt.
How much skirt was that?
An acre and a half as opposed to a quarter of an acre. It was going to be a lot of skirt.
You're so goofy.
I can tell you that much. It was going to be a whole lot of skirt. Also, I was also going through the instructions again, and I measured. I still changed the way they did the increases a little bit, but it's fine. It's really fine. So this is what I've got now, and tell you how much smaller it was. I was able to just knit back almost to where I was
with one skein.
Yeah.
Like it said, you caught it early. That's the best possible outcome.
Yeah. So once I get to the point where I switch over to stockinette, I will be trying this on again. And I can.
So how many inches of the garter stitches they're supposed to be?
Realistically, there's 5.5 inches of the garter stitch, but part of that is turning a waistband casing, so it's not going to be that much that's showing. But and that's the other thing, when your intuition is already telling you something is off, I don't always listen to it right away, because you know, part of you doesn't want to believe it. It'll save you so much time and so much effort, because it was looking a little big when I first cast on, but I didn't want to believe. So I knit. It was actually a little bit longer than this, and it had taken up about 3 skeins.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, and you're saving yarn. That's great. You can make a matching top.
I might have enough for a top now. I'm so excited about that. But I like it so far. What yarn is it? This is something from Trendsetter. It is called, nope, that's not it. I don't remember what it's called, but it's a cotton and linen blend. It feels delicious to the touch. But feel that fabric though. That's nice. So nice. I really like it. If you can get you some, I got it from Discontinued Yarns. They probably don't have a lot of colors left, but if you want some, I would get it. The price is great. And it just works up so beautifully. And I like how it is working up. I told you guys it was going to be a variegate, and that's exactly what it's doing. It's kind of like waves.
But it's nice because you're still almost getting kind of stripes
a little
at the
bit.
same time.
Yeah.
So I like this yarn. I like how it's working.
I love how it works up. It's short color. It's short stripes.
Mm-hmm.
So the wider you make it, the less stripy it will be, because this is how the swatch looks, very stripy. And as you see, the skirt, to me it feels like water rippling, and that is exactly what I was going for. So that's what happened. It was way too big, and it was my fault because my swatch was way too small. Yes.
But swatching is an art, not a science. And I really I'm a very linear thinker, and the way I want swatching to work is you make the swatch, you measure it, and that is what you get when you start your garment. And for some reason, that is almost never the case. And I'm still struggling with that. Like, that is still causing me consternation.
See, that's the thing. I have been my swatching has been pretty dang accurate. But you know what? I always make big, giant swatches. So I just have more to work with. And, I knew. But I didn't want to believe. So I went with it. And the numbers were so cockeyed. It's like the original skirt, I think I started with a cast on of 216 stitches. And this one, I'm working with a cast on of 180 stitches.
Oh.
Yeah.
But now you're on the right road.
I am. I think it's going to fit beautifully, and it's going to be a pleasure to wear.
Cool.
So that's what's going on with me. How's everything going with you guys? If you've had any swatchy disasters, feel free to share.
So I'm at that point where I would normally be deciding what I'm going to make next.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea for some reason. Usually I am floating from one project to the next, and it's just never an issue. And for some reason, I feel like legit stymied. And I think part of it is that I have so many things that I do want to work on. I don't know where to go next. No. You know what? Maybe I just need a break.
Yeah.
But that's weird for me.
Yeah.
Needing a break is weird for me just because my crocheting is so largely stress-free that it seems weird to me that I would need a break.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I just need to recharge creatively a little bit.
Do something else. Tell us about it.
And
make some sushi.
But yeah, right now I usually at this point when I'm doing the finishing work, I've already started working on a schematic and measurements for my next project. And right now I got nothing. So I think I might just take a little break, and that means next episode I probably won't have a whip.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
It certainly is.
It's definitely not I don't know, I wouldn't call it a slump where I don't feel like making anything.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like I want to take a little more time deciding what I want to make next.
I think that's perfectly fine. Yeah.
This is weird for me.
I on the other hand am in a backlog, so I have this skirt to make, and I have a duck sweater that's coming up next.
Yes, you got your duck sweater. That's a commission for our niece. But I have too many ideas, and I think I'm just feeling a little overloaded at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just gonna take a breath, actually finish this sweater, get it to where I can actually wear it, weave in ends, all of that, and then decide what I'm going to make next. And I'm like, what am I going to do with myself? I don't know, but I'm just surprised. I'm just surprised to be here. But you know what? I feel like last year I got to this place too.
Yeah.
But last year I just ignored it. And it made stuff.
But there's no problem with taking breaks. Breaks fuel your creativity. You know, it's how you sharpen your saw and get ready for the next thing. And when you come back to it, you're refreshed, you're excited, you know?
I think I want to spend some time really just looking at inspiration pieces, going through my yarn and seeing what I want to work with yet. You know, next we're transitioning seasons, so now I'm going to be looking at, you know, different yarns. I'm going to be looking at my wool and my alpaca and stuff. I want to play around with like some colors and color combinations and things. And like I had like this vague idea about making a mood board, but I still don't even understand entirely how mood boards work.
Oh.
So
well, we can talk about that. That would be, why don't we discuss mood boards next time then?
I guess
we can talk about it off camera and then maybe show some examples. I'll make a mood board too because I have ideas.
So I feel like I just want to play more with the in my head creative part of crocheting as opposed to like the mechanical part.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm finally embracing this idea of myself being a crochet designer, even though I'm not selling my patterns. And I think that was always like a weird, like I called myself a crocheter, but I never knew. Like, I see people online, they refer themselves as designers or quote-unquote crochet artists, and I never, like, embraced any of these terms. They seem very lofty to me. Like I felt like applied to myself, not, like, speaking about anyone else, but applied to myself, it felt like putting on airs. And, like, I just crochet. Like, whatever. I pick up a hook and I go.
Yeah, I consider myself a fiber artist.
But now I'm really, like, wait a minute, I am kind of designing stuff. And I really want to just kind of explore just the design part.
Yeah.
And play around with my ideas and really just kind of like connect to that idea of myself as a designer for a little while. And I think that's just kind of where I am at the moment. And it's a weird feeling like I'm wasting time somehow. Like if I'm not actively like stitching that, but I'm not. Yeah. I really need to start collating my ideas a little bit and making sure that like I don't forget any of them and kind of figure out what my system will be for just keeping track of the ideas that I have. So like I said, I've been sketching a little bit more, but I'm also like looking at some fashion magazines and just kind of looking at how the pictures are put together and how ideas are presented, just to maybe learn a little bit from, you know, professional designers.
Exactly.
And I just want to play around with that for a little bit.
And I think you should go through that process, you know, just because sometimes when we're doing things on our own, we feel like we don't have a process because we haven't written it down. It's not official.
Like, oh yeah, I just do it. Oh, I crochet while I watch movies and
Yeah. But there is a whole thought process that happens before you ever make a stitch.
And at least it's always telling me like, oh, I should talk more about my process. And I will tell it, I don't have a process. What do you mean? If you say so. But I feel like now I am starting to think about like, oh, do I have a process? And what is it? And what do I want it to be?
Exactly.
And that's just kind of the headspace I'm in right now. And so it feels appropriate to just take a short break, like a week or two from the actual stitching and just play in that headspace.
Yeah. Because, you know, it's not like we're not the people who necessarily get an idea, go to the yarn store and buy everything we need for that thing, and then come home and make that thing. Sometimes our ideas grow out of, well, I have this much of this yarn and I have that much of that yarn, you know? I have X amount of yarn. If I eliminate the cables from the back, it will be enough to finish the
I
thing.
bought this chunky funky yarn that I really liked, and when I was working with it, I realized I had enough to make like a little rectangle, and so that just became the back of a vest, because that was about how much yarn I had just to make that a rectangle that would about fit my back. And so I had to get a different yarn to make the front of the vest.
Exactly.
But it actually came out really cute, and I'm really happy with it. But sometimes you're just playing around like jigsaw and see just which pieces fit together.
And because you do use that type of process, you know, you don't have a safety net under you, really. And you have to sort of really think ahead of what you're going to do if this isn't enough to get across my back. What can I do? And I think that's the process you want to document. Okay, well, how did I arrive at this? Because you can do that idea again. You know, that's
a little more intentionally.
A little more intentionally next time. And you don't have to. You know, you said something one podcast that I thought was really interesting. Like, you got to the place in your crochet where no matter what goes wrong, you're confident that you'll be able to work something out. And but work something out covered a really large process with 3 little words. And when you work something out, there's lots of steps. You know, very seldom do we have that eureka moment. You have, oh, wait a minute, that might work. And then
what if
this
I did
is. Exactly. So I think examining your process is a good thing. I took the long way around to get to that. But yes, examining your process is a good thing. And when you do need to go into problem solving mode, once you know I can do some procedure that I already know what it is, you have a starting point. Even if that doesn't solve the immediate problem, you know, okay, I can do process A. Okay, then maybe I can try process B. And you have a path to follow.
I've gotten a lot more comfortable with trial and error than I ever have been in the past. Like, I've somehow gotten myself to a point where I accept the trial as a trial, so maybe it'll work out and maybe it won't. And that was the part I struggled with. Like, every time something didn't work out, it felt like a fail, and it doesn't anymore. Now, for me, specifically with regard to crochet, and I talked a little about this, me trying to learn to apply this to other areas of life, but I've completely redefined the concept of failure, because now, quote unquote, failure just seems like a necessary step. It's just fail, success. And that's just the process. That's totally normal. In every area of life, though. And I feel like we go from this part of our lives where that's perfectly normal, like when you're children and you're learning to walk, you're learning to read, you learn, because everything is new to you, and you are encouraged for just the attempt. But then at some point we shift away from that, and you're expected to be perfect on the first try, and that's not a thing. It's always the same process for every person in every field of endeavor. But for some reason our mindset shifts, and all of a sudden failure becomes this looming thing in our minds. And I feel like having this hobby, craft, skill, whatever, has really helped me to unlearn that the negative connotations of the word fail. And I'm surprised. I'm still like, well,
I think,
who's that speaking?
I think that's one thing crafting does, though. It gets you out of your perfectionist mindset. Because if I was perfectionistic, having the skirt come out too big on the first try would have stopped the project dead in its tracks. Like, I'd had to put it in the disappointments room and maybe start something else. Rather than taking away the lesson. Like, now I know what to do, and I can just do it and then move on, rather than taking a few days to kick myself or berate myself, because you know that's how you do it sometimes. At least that's how I've done it. I would berate myself for a few days or a week or a month, and my project sits and languishes when I could have just ripped it out and used it as a big swatch, measured it, and then kept on going.
There's something I think maybe about being divorced from the profit motive too, because if you accept something as a hobby, I don't know, I think you stress yourself less about the outcome because it's not something you are trying to sell or exchange for like a monetary value. Instead, the accomplishment is enough.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that maybe the mindset from having a hobby also needs to be applied to
Yes.
the professional space, because regardless, the process is the same.
Yes.
And you are going to have to learn along the way, and you are going to improve over time. And for some reason, again, talking about trying to apply my crochet mindset to other things, it's what you attach to the outcome,
Mm-hmm.
I think, that can sometimes hold you back. And for me, I'm still attached to the outcome when I crochet, but for some reason, I have accepted the process. And if I could just learn how to do it in other areas, I will be unstoppable.
You know what though? You learned it in crochet by doing over and over again. And that's how you learn it in every area. It's like, oh, I didn't work out. Cool. It's like when you made the sushi and it was a little rotund.
Yeah, big fat sushi. It was like, yo.
the seaweed didn't quite close up. But if we had,
it did taste good though.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If we hadn't eaten it anyway,
mm-hmm.
we wouldn't have known it tasted delicious.
Because at first I was ready to check it.
I know. I had to say, just pass that over here, okay? I will fall on the sushi sword.
There's such thing as a sushi sword.
But if we hadn't tasted it, we would have known, A, it was delicious, and B, oh, it's just too much rice. And now you know, all you need is one of them things. Unless you're making way more sushi.
That's something I want to work on, kind of training myself to slip into that same headspace that I have when I'm crocheting, when I encounter obstacles in other places. So hopefully over time we can, I will update you on my progress as I work on that. But if I wasn't crocheting, I wouldn't even have gotten here. Mm-hmm. So what are some things your hobby has helped you with? Do let us know in the comments. Anything else you want to share with the people?
No, I think that's it.
We're going to ask you to like and subscribe, and our mom keeps telling us to ask you at the
beginning
beginning of the video.
Yeah.
So we're also going to be working on that.
Yeah.
But do like and subscribe.
Have a good week, everybody.
Stay stitching.